Hello there everybody, it is me, XfreezerBunny, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're doing a Korean inspired apartment, and there's actually a really funny story behind this build. So a couple of weeks ago, I started building a 64 by 64 lot. You can probably see where this is going. But yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna finish this. I'm not even close to finishing this anytime soon. So I was like, you know what? I haven't done an apartment build. It's been a while since I've done an apartment build, and recently I feel like I've been doing a lot of really big, complicated builds. I was like, you know what? Let's do an apartment. And luckily, EA announced that one of the new kits to be released next month is going to be the Incheon Arrivals kit. They're going to be releasing 2 kits next month, I believe. The other one is the Fashion Street kit, and I was like, you know what, let's do this aesthetic Korean apartment, mostly inspired by the apartments that you see on Korean dramas. So growing up, I did watch a lot of Korean dramas, and they always have this kind of like really aesthetic, extra apartment designs. I don't know why. I feel like this isn't what you would normally see for, you know, regular people in Korea. I don't know. I feel like normal houses would be a little bit more toned down compared to the ones we see in K-dramas, but you know, I really wanted to go for that Korean drama aesthetic, so I wouldn't necessarily say that this is the most realistic representation, but who knows? If you've been to Korea or if you are Korean, let me know how realistic this is. But yeah, I was really inspired by some of the recent Korean dramas that I watched, particularly with Crash Landing on You. I've already talked about this a bit in my Hanok house build a couple of months ago, but yeah, I grew up watching Korean dramas. I stopped for a little bit, and then the most recent one I watched was Crash Landing on You, which was actually last year, so I need some new K-drama recommendations. I've also considered doing another style that was pretty prevalent in a lot of the K-dramas and movies that I watch, which was a style called neutro. I actually started a neutro apartment build, but it didn't quite work out because we didn't have the right items, in my opinion. But I think that would be a style that I would love to tackle at some point. And I'm really surprised that The Sims didn't choose that style. Like, no offense to the Incheon Arrivals kit, but I feel like neutro would... I don't know, I feel like neutro was just more interesting in my opinion, but kind of makes sense because a lot of the items that we got with cottage living kind of fall under that vintage neutral style. So you know, that being said, based on what I've seen from Incheon Arrivals, it looks pretty awesome. I think it's gonna go well with, you know, packs like Dream Home Decorator and also Tiny Living, because I feel like Tiny Living has kind of like that, you know, laid back, chill aesthetic as well. But yeah, as you can see, definitely the main focal point of this main living area right here is this, what is this thing called? Basically entertainment kind of setup with a lot of shelves, and I'm glad I found those newly patched in kind of like display shelves that were included in the game with the most recent Spa Day refresh update, which was pretty cool. That update, I've seen it, and the items were actually pretty nice. I wasn't quite sold on this whole idea of, you know, a refresh, but once I've seen the items, I was like, you know, I get all of this new content for free. I'm like, okay, sign me up, because I did buy Spa Day when it came out like 6 years ago, but yeah, this apartment kind of looks like it's one of those like show apartments that you would see if you go to like a viewing for like a condo or something. I also feel like it looks really similar to kind of like the types of apartments you would see in like, you know, these online marketplaces that are like selling these furnitures and stuff, because I've been looking at those recently. As you know, I've been recently getting into the figure collecting hobby, and I think for the first time in my life I'm actually shopping for my own furniture now, because my country currently doesn't have IKEA. IKEA would make this process so much easier, but yeah, it's Lazada for me or Shopee. And I feel like they have a lot of these kinds of furnitures on there. If you didn't know, Lazada and Shopee are kind of like the, I would say, Amazon slash eBay of Southeast Asia. I'm not sure if they actually have it in Korea, but yeah, I feel like a lot of their merchandise on there is definitely very, you know, contemporary, very aesthetic, you know, things that you would see in places like Tumblr or like Pinterest and stuff like that. So yeah, this is a little bit of a departure from my usual style, simply because it's pretty heavy on the interior design, and usually I'd like to focus more on the architectural elements with my builds. As you all know, I am an architecture graduate. I don't know why I said that really weirdly, because I was gonna say I'm an archi graduate, but I noticed that that isn't something that's widely used in the international community, but in my country, you know, we just call ourselves, we're archi graduates. But yeah, also one really exciting announcement that just came out a couple of days ago was the Sims 4 Creator Worlds mod by Twisted Mexi. I'm clapping my hands. I'm so excited for this. This is legit like game changer status, because I've always wanted an Creator World, you know, program for The Sims 4. I'm not even sure if you can call it a program. It's more of a mod. But yeah, you know, I could not live without the tool mod. I use it in every single one of my builds, and I feel like it's given me so much more of an enjoyable experience with The Sims 4, just having the tool mod in my game. It's just, you know, it gives you so many creative possibilities that aren't just in game by default. And oh my goodness, can you guys just imagine having like a Creator World mod? It's legit gonna be game changing, and I'm so excited. It's coming out this October as well, so yeah, I'm definitely going to be signing up for their Patreon, because I need that mod, and hopefully I'll be able to use it in my save file as well. And speaking of my save file, I've been actually working on multiple builds at once, which tends to be what I do quite often right now. But yeah, one of the builds that I've been working on is actually a cat cafe, which I've also mentioned in my last build. So I feel like that's gonna get finished before I finish the 64x64. It's not really a, you know, really big house, but it's a pretty detailed build, I would say. Kind of a more recent take on some of my older builds, actually. It's not a remake or anything, but definitely kind of a more recent take on an older build that I've done many years ago. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to really spoil it, but yeah, for the dining room, I did go for this like split level area. And this is mainly inspired by things that I would see in like Korean restaurants, because they would always have this like little platform where you can sit and just, you know, eat your stuff, basically. I noticed that in a lot of Korean homes, they do have more of a Western style dining area, but there's a train passing by outside, by the way, sorry about that. I usually am pretty good with scheduling when I do my voiceovers, but sometimes, you know, I just feel like doing a voiceover because I just want to get a build out of the way so I can focus on all of the other things that I've been working on. But back to this dining area. Yeah, I've been to quite a few Korean restaurants and Korean, you know, cafes and stuff. I live in a district that actually has a pretty big Korean community, and literally right next door from where I live, there's like 2 or 3 Korean restaurants, and they all have this kind of like seating area where you can just sit on the floor and eat and stuff. It's a pretty standard thing, so I kind of wanted to capture that. Also, Ceiling Gang is back. I'm trying not to be loud here because somebody else is sleeping in the room next door, but yeah, Ceiling Gang, oh my gosh, I am so happy I discovered that technique. That is a divider from Dine Out, and I just basically rotated it with the tool mod, and yeah, it looks really good as a ceiling piece. Might be a little bit annoying if you are doing gameplay, but I like the aesthetic. You know, I like having my builds look good, you know, from a 3-dimensional angle. And I feel like The Sims 4 has been doing really well with patching in a lot of features that we've been missing. And I feel like one of the final patches that I would like to see in the game would be like a a ceiling patch. I don't know. Maybe it's too late, but The Sims 2 incorporated ceilings quite late as well. It came with apartment life, so yeah, hopefully they can do something about that in The Sims 4. Yeah, honestly, I think I'm more excited to see a city living refresh, because yeah, we're actually building this in Evergreen Harbor. I really struggle to find apartments in San Myshuno that I really like to renovate, because they're just a really weird shape. Trust me, I work professionally in apartment designs, and honestly, I couldn't think of a single one in San Myshuno that would actually pass off as good apartment design. I'm sorry if that's harsh, but yeah. I actually really much preferred the apartments here in Evergreen Harbor, and ironically enough, I think I played more on the apartments here than I did with City Living. And City Living's been out for like way longer than Eco Lifestyle. I just really prefer these apartments. I think they're a lot more manageable, and I would like to see some smaller apartments actually. They're way too big here in The Sims 4 and very unrealistic, because the point of apartments is that they're smaller than suburban homes, and most of the apartments here in The Sims 4 are literally the same size or maybe even bigger than suburban homes. But yeah, the kitchen's pretty basic, not the most, extra room in this house, because I decided to focus the attention on other rooms, which basically didn't give me a lot of space to work with for the kitchen, but it's fine. It's a functional kitchen, and I also got to use a lot of the new swatches that got recently patched in. Yeah, can we talk about just how much EA has been patching in the games recently? They're getting a little too comfortable with patching in all of these updates, which is great, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird because I feel like in the whole history of the Sims franchise, I haven't seen them patch this much. But yeah, I don't know. It's great. I just like getting free stuff and free content basically. But yeah, for this bedroom, I'm using the bed from Dream Home Decorator, and it's a pretty small bedroom actually. I also am using this kind of like walk-in closet item from Dream Home Decorator as well. I really like that. I've been using that quite a lot in my builds. I don't know how practical it would be, because where I am, it gets really dusty, and I cringe just thinking of how dusty the clothes would get, but it's really aesthetic though, so I guess that makes sense. And we have a vacuum now in The Sims 4 with the Bust the Dust kit. Did I say that name correctly? I'm sorry, I just cannot keep up with all of these new pack releases, but one pack that I did actually recently appreciate was the Country Kitchen kit. Yeah, I've posted a preview of my 64x64 builds, and it uses the Country Kitchen kit. If you want to scroll down through my Twitter, it's there somewhere. I'm also using this little console table as a desk. It looks really good as a desk actually. So I put that there. And yeah, I really enjoyed this little area right here, even though it's not really functional. I feel like it makes the room a lot more aesthetic. By the way, I made this for a writer sim, or actually, sorry, no, they're more of like a designer, I guess. They work in like architectural design or maybe interior design. There goes that train again. I'm sorry about that. I really should have timed this commentary better, but yeah, it is what it is. If I don't record this now, this build is gonna have to wait another day for me to be able to re-record this because of scheduling stuff, and I'm just gonna be really busy tomorrow, so I'm getting this done because I'm gonna be attending an event actually, a virtual event, but yeah, it's still gonna take up a lot of time. But yeah, I did use quite a lot of wood tones in this build. And there's also, quite a lot of pastel as well. So really enjoyed this color scheme. Let me know if you want to see more builds like these. I feel like if we do get a city living refresh, like no joke, I feel like every single build I do is going to be an apartment if I have that option, because that's what I did in The Sims 3 and The Sims 2. I think I mostly built apartments rather than like actual homes, because I don't know why. I just really like that kind of, process, I guess. I guess it's because I live in a tiny apartment. Well, it's not tiny compared to the types of apartments that other people live here in Manila, but yeah, I just really enjoy working in apartments. I guess it also comes from the fact that, in my professional life, I mostly worked on projects that are apartments. Like, I don't think I've ever worked, let me think. Okay, yeah, I don't think I've ever worked on like a regular suburban house, like ever. The closest thing I've worked on to a suburban house was like a townhouse. It was more of a row house, but yeah, that's the closest thing I've worked on. So yeah, it's mostly like mixed use condos and stuff like that, high-rise buildings. Worked on a shopping mall as well and a hotel, and I would love to see those in The Sims 4. A hotel in particular would be so amazing. But yeah, this bathroom is so aesthetic. I absolutely really love it. I find it ironic that the bathroom is bigger than the kitchen, but I really like it. It's really luxurious. And I did use the wallpaper from the Star Wars kit, Journey to Batuu. So yeah, some of you are probably not going to be happy that I used that pack in this build, but it just worked really well. I just really like the texture, so I just went ahead and used it. And yeah, there's also a little washing area, laundry area in this build as well, with a washer and dryer. So you will need to have laundry day for this build to work exactly the way it looks. One thing that I am a little bit worried about is actually sharing this build on the gallery, because how am I supposed to share this with all of the split leveling that I did? It's gonna be a nightmare. I think I'm gonna have to like lower down the split level area, unfortunately, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and end my commentary right here. It's a pretty quick build, but yeah, I need time to finish all of my other bigger projects. But I hope you all enjoyed this. I can't wait to get my hands on the new kits. And until then, I'll see you guys in my next build. Thank you so much for watching. You all have an awesome day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.